be a kind of a casual conversation with somebody we all know. And the main purpose of this is as for GRP, but also for my audience that may not know my cousin Eric and some of the track promotion and stuff that he does with the Donnie Show. So if you haven't checked out the Donnie Show is a Facebook, um, I would say a Facebook format track promotion. It's kind of the new age, I think, of what track promoters are going to have to get accustomed to, is knowing that their biggest audience is not only going to be at gas stations and stuff where you can put out flyers, but also their audience is going to be on social media. So a lot of what I think, um, a lot of what I think Facebook and track promoters together can do is not only can you build a consistent audience, like if you've watched Sayri, they've got about 10,000 followers. Simple Moments Photography, which goes to a lot of tracks, has also got about 10,000 followers. And then things like this, I have about 1,200 followers, which, if you know, YouTube's a little bit tougher than Facebook is. But when Eric gets on here, that's what we're going to be discussing. And he was just a few minutes out, and I do apologize that I wasn't on here at 6:30 and didn't have the natural lighting, and I'm not able to be my studio that I've set up in the house to be able to go live in is actually right next to the place that the baby takes a bath. So it would have just been noisy. And so if I'd have went on at 6:30, that would have gave us an hour and a half before her bath time. But since I wasn't able to, and I do apologize, my parents actually reached out and wanted to meet to eat so they could see the baby, and I never want to tell them no. So um, it's a good thing, I think, to make sure that grandparents and kin folks get to see the baby um, as often as they're able to. I need to make available time. So I'm sorry we're late. I know it's a little bit past an hour late. We're going to be competing with football here just a little bit, high school football and some football on TV. But if you call Florida football, um, if that's even football. But so like I said, Eric's going to be the special guest. If you guys know, there's a big race coming up in October. We're going to talk about that, and that's at Sayre Speedway. There's also some new news about Jasper opening up. I'm going to touch on that with him, touch on some of his promotional stuff, and also the Donnie Show with Alex and Eric do that together. So if you guys can hear me, if you don't mind, leave a message there, and we can do a little chatting while we're waiting on Eric. So all messages should be visible. The last time I think they popped up pretty good. Um, if you're excited to see Eric coming on, I know I am. Eric's not only is he my cousin, but I also look. He's younger than me, but he's always taller than me. That's always been our thing. But he's not only is my cousin, he's a good friend, and he's also probably him and Alex together have turned in to be some of the better track promoters, especially in this area. Thanks, Eddie. Thanks, Richard. Good afternoon, Fish Man. Good to see you. Hope you get your stuff worked out with your car. Richard had a pretty good man. Richard, you had a tough year this year. How many motors did you actually wind up getting? Eddie, limited modified. I believe he got the rookie of the year in limited modified. Um, I'll go ahead and put this out there. Me and Eddie Dodd are going to try to be doing this same format next week and have Eddie on, because Eddie's been around 10, Richard. Eddie's been around racing a lot. Um, Eddie's dad was definitely, hey, Mike Bradford. Eddie's dad was definitely a legend of the sport, and now he's with Walter. Eddie races with Walter. I don't know if that's still Walter's car or if it's Eddie's or not. But the late model looked good. I've got some short clips of the late model this week. Colby got rookie of the year. That's right. But you missed how many races? You missed three or no, you didn't. Y'all raced twice, so you ended up missing two races, maybe. I'm really excited that this is working good here at the house, Eddie, because I was thinking I was going to have to go down and rent a room at the hotel just to talk to you on the just to make sure it was going to be clear. So when Eric comes in, we'll see how it goes. And like I told Eric, he's um, I don't want to say that you wouldn't be understanding if something was to happen, but the internet connection stuff going in and out can definitely be aggravating. If you guys don't mind while you're on here, hit the thumbs up and hit the like button so this thing will generate and get some people on here. Um, like I said, we're competing with football, so I do expect people to come on a little bit later. And I apologize that to you guys that are just now coming on. I did meet my parents to let them see the baby, which set me back about an hour and a half that I wasn't expecting to be set back. Um, I had questions wrote down to try. What I was trying to do with this to set this format up like we did at the beach, and I got to have Chase on. I was trying to actually get this first one set up and done at the house because the beach house we stay at has great service and also has Wi-Fi. So I wanted to check it out at the house before I had a true guest on. And Eric is obviously somebody I think everybody wants to hear from, and especially about this big race. But so Eddie, there's some questions I'm going to ask you next week. Do you want me to send you those questions so you can be prepared, or you want to just shotgun them? If you guys will notice, I'll ask a question and then Walter owns the modified. I own the late model. Dustin Knowles was driving it. Yeah, and it didn't look bad. I know it was down on the front. I guess you'd call it the front splitter there all night, but that's really going to be good at a big track. If you guys are planning on traveling, the splitter was planted, and it really only seemed to plant at Sayre about, I'd say, a car length off the center. It would get down on it, and I think that's going to work out well considering at those bigger tracks when you're letting out, I would say probably, I don't know, it probably you'd be in the rev limiter 100 foot before you get to the corner. You let out, it gets down on the splitter, and then it doesn't pick back up till you come off. So the car looks like it's going to be really good. Um, First time on the track, yeah, that's what Dustin was telling me when he come up to the pay line that it was going to be that was the car's first time. Y'all might have had some brake issues, um, but that's to be expected the first time. If you're just coming on, hit the thumbs up. Let's get this thing generated. Eric will be on in a few minutes, and he's supposed to have a new background. So we'll see if it's something that we care to look at. If not, I'll hit the X real fast, and we'll find somebody prettier to get on here. Somebody prettier than Eric. Which wouldn't be hard to find. I could just start bumping, just start bumping names. So, what made you go with the lost brakes the last 15 laps? Yeah, uh, that's a that's Sayre. Man, it's tough. I know it'd be tough at any track, really, but if you lose brakes at Sayre, it's hard to set the car. Yeah, Richard McGraw, Charlie's paint scheme for his dad. He changed up the letters. That's pretty cool. I've thought about doing some of my dad's old paint schemes, but I just go with red, and one time green maybe. So it's good watching Charlie. I know Charlie blew a water hose this last race, which pretty much set up the final laps for Chase Bradlin to win it. I don't know. Chase beat him last year too. I don't know what happened, but I'll tell you, Charlie Melvin is a smooth criminal when it comes to getting around Sayre and that late model. I hadn't got to watch him at Montgomery, Um, we need us a Mike Bradford at Montgomery. We've got Katie Eustace at Sayre and Melody and Naomi. So you kind of get all of the angles that you can get. There's no backstretch angles, of course, but we need us a Mike Bradford at uh, at Montgomery so we can watch some of them. You want me to come to the studio or do it live? Let's do it live from the house because if we do it, if let's see, if we can do it at the dealership if you just want to come in and do it, but um, it's really up to you. I'm fine with doing it live like this, and of course, if you what time you get off work and stuff. I was just going to ask you Monday what time you got off work and what day looked like a good day for next week because I mean I know you I think you're kind of like your own foreman there for what you do, but just sometimes the work can get hectic. I know for us, if I had to stay last day of the month, Laurie, we couldn't go eat earlier with my parents because Laurie has to finish up all the accounting information at the dealership, and then we went down uh, to Texas Roadhouse, and that's never Thursday evenings, Friday evenings, and Saturdays around here are just hectic. And surprisingly, Monday is too at most of the places to eat, which right here at the rim of Birmingham. If you don't want to go to those certain places, but the studio is really the trophy room y'all saw on the other one for us to do it live. And in the basement, I don't have that one completely set up with my Outlaw Chassis Engineering stuff, but I plan on, and you'll have to be a recipient of it as a later gift. But I plan on having some shirts and some hats made with their logo and my logo on it. That way, I can give people at least something for coming on the podcast. And um, besides Cameron Kilgore, you'll be the first official. Let's add Eric. Here he comes in. You'll be the first official guest. Really and truly, you'll be the first official guest coming in, anyways. If you don't mind, and you just came in, hit the thumbs up button. Maybe even click share and share it to Facebook and let people know that we're on here. I know it'll send out notifications, but we should be getting Eric on in just a second. It's a good time to let him come on and get his stuff situated. And can you hear us, Eric? We can hear you, but we can't see you. Yeah, Cameron, you count. You just as we come off the season, it'll be the first. We was kind of able to talk about current events, but not able to talk about your past and your experience with racing before. So we really need to have you on and have an actual podcast where we're not explaining old stuff or breaking down BS or anything like that. We'll just be able to have you on, get your background. I guess it's kind of it'll be a different format with a podcastee. But Eddie and Eddie, before I get tore off into Eric here, there's I greatly appreciate you just being a snapback yes, and I didn't have to try to beg you or anything. Eric, where are you at in somebody else's house? Is that where you're at? You said there was going to be a background. I can barely see you right now, but I can't. Maybe you're. Yeah, you may not. It's like you're in a dungeon. I got you now. Oh, you got where your race car is. Hey. So we see the winner of the Dixie Classic. We'll just take it to Outlaw Chassis Engineering and drop it off on my account and see if they'll fix it. Yeah, they'll be done in about a week. All right, so we got the guest on. This is going to be a spike point in there. So if you have a car for the off season and it's sitting there like Eric's, and you don't got time, call Brett and the guys at Outlaw. Whoa! Call Brett and the guys at Outlaw Chassis Engineering. And if you hadn't seen, they work on buzz cars, road warriors, late models, sportsmen's, super streets, pure streets, whatever you need done. They can do a complete roll cage. They can touch up the one you've got. Um, I know for a fact the body work that comes out of that place has got a little Gary stamp on it, and Paul Jean, Brett. I mean, they're almost the closest thing to perfectionists that you can be in racing. So they'll do you a good job. You can go to Facebook, look up Outlaw Chassis Engineering. Tell them I sent you, and Brett's supposed to give you a little bit of a discount. I hadn't been saying that because if you want good work in a race car, don't ask anybody to give you a discount on the roll cage. Can you agree? Don't go to the
Oh
man and
yeah,
say,
for
"Hey,
sure.
man, can you give me a discount on a roll cage?" He's not gonna do you bad out the start. I've heard him price a few roll cages at the track in front of me, and the guys were like, "Oh wow, that's cheaper than I expected." Cheap's not what you're looking for in a roll cage or safety. And let them guys mount your seat belts. Let them get you completely 100% set up, and you'll be able to go to any track in America and race, whatever speed you want to run. So thanks to them, we're going to keep this thing rolling through the off season. I'm going to try to get guests and be able to produce them a good product. And who better than to have Eric Garner, one half of the Donnie Show?
Hold on, I'm moving my phone a little closer. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, good. I had to prop the phone up weird. I can't turn the camera sideways to use my earbuds, so I'm hard of hearing.
Yeah.
You know, race cars and such. All these years.
So let's start this thing out. Eric, you've been around racing. I know how long you've been around racing, but tell everybody how long you've been around racing and where you got your first track you ever got set down in the dirt at.
That would be Jasper Speedway, way back. And you're probably like me, and remember just bits and pieces of being that
Yeah.
young. We were 5 when it shut down, 98.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, it's just bits and pieces. Of course, we've got the archive of VHS tapes in there from way
Yeah.
back. Uh, Booger Dawkins and Goose Share and our uncle Frankie Douglas and all those guys turning
Yeah.
laps and
The Robinson brothers,
oh yeah, and then the Robins, Andy and James.
James.
And then you think about all the pony guys, Earl Glaze and Neil Self and Steve Ferguson and you know and then you've got Skip Garner, my dad, Ronnie Garner. You got Joey Garner. You got Frankie ran a few races in
Ran
in
double time. Yeah.
the pony stock. Uncle Eddie Glisson, he ran a
Yeah, he
couple.
did. He ran a
He ran
Pinto,
a
didn't
couple.
he?
Yep, he did.
Yeah. You
Oh
remember
man, it's a
Ted used to have them things lined up outside his shop, and
oh
everybody's
man.
up there working on them. And
Yep,
Daddy out underneath the shade tree at Mac's house.
yep, no doubt. Yeah, I
So
mean
so
there
we're
was.
we're pushing 30 years of you being around a racetrack.
Yeah, I mean so I'm sure I was very small the first time I went. So Dad started racing in 94, 95, I think.
Yeah. And
So
so
I'd have
my
been
dad started in
a year ago.
'93,
Yeah, yeah.
based
So
off the
Dad would have
Rookie of the
started.
Year trophy. Yeah.
Yeah, he would have started about a year after that. Then so, um, yeah, you know, Dad ran the old Pinto. Uh oh. Uh oh.
Oh, you're
Okay.
good.
Well, it looked like you went to sleep, but you blinked and it froze. Yeah.
Just don't catch me in one of my good one of my good ones there. Yeah. Um, I think you might have. No, you
No,
didn't.
I was
You
kidding.
was
I was
playing.
playing. Uh oh. Uh oh.
Did we lose you?
I can't hear.
Yeah.
Oh, I got. I
Yeah.
already knew.
Um, yeah. You have to move over, set your car or something.
Yeah. Well, I'm in between the front frame horns right now.
Yeah. No. Yeah. In the backdrop, like you said, it looks pretty good. Is that a new shop at your house, or you just got the other one?
Oh no, I'm at Dad's. This is out here at their place.
Oh, you're over in Cordova.
Yeah.
You want me to tell them the address so they can find you if they're looking to be on the show?
Yeah, they can drive by and blow the horn and stuff out here.
So a couple, one question I did have: what is the challenge that you find the most challenging about trying to promote these races? Like we got the Dixie Classic coming up, we're about to get into. What do you find trying to promote those races?
Honestly, I feel like people are going to come watch it either for
Mhm.
two reasons. Either they want to see it succeed or they want to see if it's going to go horribly wrong, which it hasn't yet. We've not had one go horribly wrong. So it's all been good. And then two, finding the money hasn't really been that hard. So getting people to show up and getting it sponsored have never really been a challenge. The challenge is getting, and this is what I want though. I want all the fast guys in one place at one time. That way there's no excuses like say Carter Murray wins the 100 lapper, but people are going to say, well,
Right.
if Justice Evans would have shown up, it might have been different. Well, I
Right.
personally call
Well,
anybody with a car. If I don't have your number, I'm messaging you on Facebook saying there's no reason you don't know this race is happening if you own a full body street stock
that's it.
car. So at
Yep.
that point, it's on you. But yeah, I understand, and some people don't want to change their car to fit, the rules, or they might think that they're going to be at a disadvantage. But they split the division, which, at the time I really didn't like that they were splitting the division. I thought we had, 25, 30 cars that,
Well, that was a
yeah,
good thing going.
there was
Yeah.
25, 30 cars could have shown up under one umbrella and would have been okay. Well, now, it's created two good races, though. I'll give it that it's worked out in the end, where Pure Street is usually a really good race, and then Super Street is usually a good race. But
Well, if all the cars would show up that could show up and compete in a super street race, so and then some people don't even have a car anymore. But if you think about Doughboy showing up every week, he's running
yep,
Pure Street. But if Corey Woods, he owns Corey Woods' car, that's why I said that. But
yep,
Corey Woods, Zach Smith, Justice Evans, Chase Argent, Cody Argent, Shannon. Before long, now you're going to have Carter up there. I'm assuming
yep,
Wesley Schufert. That
yep.
in itself would create which Shannon had I wouldn't say an awful year because he didn't have an awful year, but he
He
didn't
had a
have a year that we're used to Shannon Dawkins having.
Yeah, he
Shannon
had a
can
lot of
compete
bad
with
luck
that
too.
30 car.
He got
Yeah,
a lot of bad luck. He would end up in other people's stuff and get the whole front end knocked out from
yeah.
under the car like every single week. It felt like he'd get the toe knocked. And look, it was so bad one night. He finished third, and it was so bad that
I
we
remember
had to
that
move it
night.
back on the
Yeah,
boards and put the scales where we thought that the wheels would end up to get him on them because it was pushing everything out of whack as it rolled up. It was like
yeah.
this. So if you, I have the number right here. I have the number. If every Pure Street and every Super Street that raced this year, just that Sayre showed up for this, there would be over 30 cars. There'd be like 32, 33. And I'm not counting like, Hunter Bobo raced two different cars. I'm saying every car that showed up, there'd be 32 of them.
Wow.
So that's just from Sayre. And then you say, okay, you look up at Huntsville. Well, there's 3 or 4 of the Fords put together right now. There's the Reeds up there. There's two brothers. They got two cars, the 93 and the 94. You've
Yeah,
got, I think Keith Allison still has that old Pure Street. And then you look at Michael Neely's got two cars sitting up there. There's 15 cars up there that could show up to it, and they'd all be legal. Okay. And then how the rules are written, every car other than a Johnson chassis or a Camaro from Montgomery could show up and run, and Mobile and Nashville and Highland Rim. Any car is legal for this from Kingsport Speedway in the northeast of Tennessee all the way to Mobile and Five Flags.
and
Every
so
car.
while you're on that and you're talking about the Johnson chassis,
Yeah.
It did say on that rule page that I read the rule page today. I tried to get it familiar with it. I had a copy of it, like I told you earlier. I left it at the dealership, but at the
Yeah.
bottom of the infractions that you could add weight for, it said other items. Maybe it had two blank lines.
Yes. Yes.
Is there a possibility that a Johnston chassis can add a certain number, right side front of the frame rail, like you do in a car,
Right.
and throw a different, instead of 56% left side weights, make it a 53% left side weight rule, something to equal the playing field for a unstocked chassis.
Well,
And
here's the
there is
deal.
a question come in from William Hall. Why no Camaro? So wrap those together.
Okay, I'll start on the Camaro because that's easy to explain in a way that because the tube chassis deal. Okay, Camaros. You think about a Camaro. You put a stock Camaro up against a stock G body and you line them up beside each other. Okay, the Camaro is a 104-inch wheelbase, so and a Monte Carlo is 108. And then you
Okay.
take and look. Okay, it's a shorter car that should be. You think about if they were the same width, it'd be a disadvantage to have the longer car, right? Because the shorter car's got the tighter turn radius. Okay. Then you look at how wide a Camaro is compared. It's just as wide, if not wider, than a G body. It's a lighter car from the factory. Okay. So it's checking all the boxes already. A Camaro, shorter, just as wide, if not wider, lighter. And then you look at how low a Camaro sits, the roof. It's probably 4 to 5 inches lower than a G body, a metric car from the factory. Okay. And then obviously, we're not talking about the factory, we're talking about modified. Well, you lower a Camaro, which there's a frame height rule. Everybody's got to be at 6 inches, and that would kill the Camaro a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
lower center of gravity, wider, shorter. It's just a all around
Yeah.
better car. So that's why Camaros.
So William Hall, um, does that answer? Is that a fair? Do you think that's a fair representation? Because you're welcome to put your comments on there, and we'll read about them. But so the Johnston chassis, um, the Camaros, obviously that's a pretty good rundown. That's the most clear rundown I've ever got.
Yeah.
I usually just tell people because Barry don't want them there, which that's just.
Well, I don't know
But
his
obviously that
reasoning.
there is a reasoning,
That's my reasoning behind
right?
just fall. And you think
And
about
that's,
it
I
too.
mean,
How many Camaro race cars are running around right now on asphalt? I know of one that has success, and it's Charles Davis. Yeah. The only one I know of that runs around with success is Charles Davis. So you ask the question of, do you want Charles Davis to show up and just whack everybody over the head? That's really, and he can take that and wear it as a badge
Mhm.
of honor, I guess, and say, well, they're scared of me. Not really. It's any Camaro because somebody go out and build one. Do what?
correct. He's also got a
He's got.
Monte
I
Carlo,
think he has
correct?
a Johnson chassis car, but he's got stock, metric chassis stuff too. I think. Moving over to the Johnson chassis, on paper, the Johnson chassis is, it's supposed to be manufactured to where the mounting points of the suspension are the same as a metric car. Well, I can tell you one glaring problem with that from the jump. The front perches, where your top A-frame mount right here, on this car, it's stock and it's pointed. The front perch mount is pointed outward, like away from the car. On the Johnson chassis, they are horizontal with the car. They're in line with it. They're parallel to the frame rail. So it's got a better mounting point there. And then you think about this car is. I can tell you what this car weigh right now. If you hang a body on it with no engine, it'll probably weigh about 2650, 27 with nothing, no gas, not me in it. I don't know what a Johnson chassis weighs,
Okay.
but you think about it, it's square tubing it's built out of, but it's going to be lighter. Camaro's 108-inch wheelbase. Well,
what did you say? I thought you said 108
I
to
think I said 100.
104.
I think I said 104.
Yeah. What? So. Oh, okay. So it is 108-inch wheelbase.
Yeah, according to Eddie
So
Dodd, is 108, and it may be.
yeah.
But anyway,
Hey, Atkins.
if you allow a Johnson chassis, where does it stop? Do you say, okay, you're allowing that tube car? Somebody shows up with a full blown tube chassis and says, okay, all my mounting points are the same, just like the Johnson chassis guys are. Which, in a perfect world,
Right.
they went and picked it up from whoever builds it, and it's right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a tube car. You're running into problems, and a lot of those guys that are running them have full sheet metal bodies on them, including like the roof and everything. And then you think about too the rules down there are like CRUSA stuff. They don't have to have a factory firewall.
Okay. So it can get out of
It
hand
it
quick.
really starts. How much weight do you say that you know? I could say, okay, the base weight for this race is 3150.
Okay.
Okay, let's say we add 33, make them 3350. Is that enough?
And so that's why I said maybe the left side percentage be different. But
And you can, yeah,
would a car like Sean Kaiser's, which is a car body hung on it, like you said, how much weight can you hang on to them to? But if you threw off their uh, tube chassis is what's killing the mini mod at MMS. Yeah, yeah, I think that's true too. But in the wide scheme of things, and Eddie, you may know this. You've set up cars and done those bigger cars. If you go from say it is 56%, right, left side weight on
yes,
a pure street,
yeah, 56. That's correct. That's, I
which I
think,
believe the more percentage you can get, the better the car should turn.
to a
If
point.
you said, hey, it can only be 52.5%, give them a 3.5% takeaway on their left side weight.
Yeah. But then do you leave them at 3150? Or do you say, okay, you got to weigh 33?
Maximum rule. I think there should
Yeah.
be a maximum weight rule before right out the gate. Hey, we're not going to run a daggone 18-wheeler body weight out here,
Yeah.
and just throw as much weight on somebody as you can because somebody showed up with a 600 cubic inch engine, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, that's a joke, but at the same time, would the left side weight be enough, in your opinion, to slow them down enough to make them be able to race if the weights were equal?
Yeah. Well, here's the deal, too, though. It's kind of like this. The Johnson chassis kind of falls into where, like, I've never budged on adjustable brakes. No one has ever
Okay,
been able to run a nil pedal, like an adjustable brake bias. They've never been able to run it ever. I've never
right.
allowed it. And then, like, I took my lumps for allowing a fabricated firewall that time. Now,
Was that the 15 car that won?
that was the Malone car. Yeah, Bradley Malone. That
Yeah.
car.
See, I still don't agree with his toss. I think that was a crybaby toss. Not on
What
you.
did he
I don't
have? What
disagree with
was
you.
the?
They had polished the burrs off the head.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
they had deburred the head. Well, it says it in the rule book.
Hmm.
Well, it's
And
kind of
so
like this too.
Eddie says tubular allows you to put the weight where you want to, and
That's
that's
right.
why I say make it a certain left side percentage so it doesn't matter what you have there.
Well, here's the deal too. You could look at it like this, and we thought about doing this for that late model deal. Instead of making like a minimum or a maximum weight, or even saying that there's a left side percentage, and I'll give the credit where this comes from. It came from Billy Melvin. He said up north, this is how they do it. You only weight rule you mandate is you say the right front and right rear, the total right side weight of the car must be at
Hmm.
least 1,080 pounds. Let's use that for like a late model. There's a minimum right side total weight. Uh-oh. It's skipping again. I think my. Oh, can you hear me? Yours is. You're cutting in and out, and it may be on my end. I'm not sure if it's me or Jody that's freezing up here. I can hear you, yeah. Oh, I thought it was on my end that was so bad. Yeah, it's you, they're saying. I can hear you. You're still choppy. Uh-oh. Jody, you're frozen again. Yeah, I got you now. Oh, nope. Yeah, you're cutting in and out. It's bad. Oh no. You keep no clipping. You keep you keep just teleporting and it freezes, and then you move to a different spot and it freezes, and no, no, and your voice sounds like a. You sound like you're speaking through like a really bad drive-through like speaker. Oh
Well,
wait, don't move. Yeah, no cone. There's no cone for
so
this
we're
race.
good.
That's a really good point. There's not going to be a choose cone. We learned our lesson there. Of course, with Andy Sandlin not in the race, we should be okay.
Gone. He gone.
He sell them cars yet, or what's going on with that?
No, I don't know. I don't know if he sold the cars. I did get a message this week to somebody trying to get his phone number from me. They thought I had his phone number, but I didn't. Um, but yeah, he's. I think he's trying to
Yeah,
sell.
yeah. That's a nice Malibu for sure.
That one car shouldn't take much to get. Yeah, I mean, the other cars are proven
Oh, yeah,
fine.
ain't no doubt.
Um,
Ain't no doubt. But
so the limited race. I'll run down the other races that are on there and tell me
yeah,
is there any rule differences, discrepancies there?
no. So you got limited modified, uh, mini mod, buzz, and roadrunner, and that's Sayree's rule book. Run it by Sayree's rule book. I had somebody ask me. Jimmy Hudson asked if he had to take the 100 pounds out of his car that they made him add. I don't know the answer to that as far as what Barry's going to want there or the track's going to want. It's an exhibition race. I would say to just take the damn weight out of the car and tell them, I'm not running extra weight because it's not for points. It's all for money. Here's a very
Right.
big point too. And I said this when I posted the rules, and there really wasn't like a big hooray jumping up and down about it. Anybody can race in any division on that night. Anybody. Anybody, any division, multiple divisions. Jody, you can run mini mod and run street stock in the same night. Hello. You're cutting out again. I couldn't understand you. Hello. Uh, Jody, service no good. No good. The fish still no good. I can hear you, but you've not moved.
Okay, well, as long as you can hear me, just run down the races and then we'll wind it up. We got the mini mod. How many laps?
Yeah. So street stock, limited modified, mini mod, buzz, and roadrunner. Um, and then the street stock is 1,500 to win, but it's $300 fastest qualifier. There's $500 of a lap money. It all
Mhm.
comes out to about $2,500 possible to win if you did everything. There's a long haul and a hard luck. I think there's a hard luck in every
Yeah.
division. Uh, Fastest qualifier for every division. Everything pays better. I think mini mod, buzz, and roadrunner all pay like $400 or $500 to win, and then limited modifieds like I think it's 800 or something. I don't know. I have to look at the flyer. I don't have it in front of me. I should know these things,
Yeah.
but everything
Well, it's
pays.
posted. It's posted on the Donnie Show.
It is posted. Yeah, Sayre Speedway and the Donnie Show all have it posted. Um, yeah, I just want everybody to show up, and there will be a Donnie Show next week. I talked to Alex today. There will be a Donnie Show
Okay.
next week. You're about to start seeing a lot from the Donnie Show. All the posts I make every year about leading up and get information about everybody that's going to drive in it and post pictures and do a little rundown for their sponsors and all that. 600 possible limited. Um, it's you know, I try real hard to get everybody's name out there, and I'll probably do it for more than just street stock this year too. And there'll be a post a day more than likely, or maybe more than one a day. Over under 20 cars. I always go for the under on it, and I've been proven wrong twice. So uh, it being Sayre, you would think that there'd be about 30 cars show up because there's people that'll run Sayre where they wouldn't run Jasper. So then that was always a gripe too for some of the guys. Well, I ain't coming out there at tracks too rough,
Yeah. Too
So
low.
too low. There's only one groove, which Sayre, you might could say that about there too. I don't know if you got a
Hmm.
real good car, you can jump up on the outside.
So is the possibility of a um, Matthew Martin and his old limited car?
I would like to see that. I would like to see him versus Joey Morgan for sure, just to see where they end up. I
Yeah.
like the limited
I think
modified.
yeah, so I actually grown to like it once I started seeing people in there, and seeing their faces and knowing who they are. Like Billy Black's on here, and watching him
Yeah,
and Colby race, and then Eddie's in Walter's car. So I
yep.
kind of know people now. Rayburn, you kind of know him from being around the track, but I don't know that he's ever raced anything else. I don't know. Um, that's Jody's favorite division. Yeah. No, my favorite division.
And it's cutting out again. You're in and out. Jody, man, you went just then up at once and it was again. Yeah, walk out into the darkness.
Can you hear me?
Where's Dennis England been this year with his limited modified? What's going on with that? Do what? Uh-oh. Boy, it didn't help. Walking further away did not help. I mean, for the moment, I can hear you. It it it's cutting in and out. Oh yeah, yeah, that's for sure. Real quick, I'll do a rundown if they can hear me. I am still trying to get some stuff sponsored for this race. There's a couple like you know, fourth and fifth place for the street stocks. Um, and let's see, need some money on the buzz race, they said. And Jody, I'm going to message you about something that we have talked about in the past for this. I don't know if Burton Campers would be interested in doing something on it, but it's something different. I'll text you or call you after this. Um, I just go ask your friends with businesses. Just a couple of small things. It's nothing big. All the big stuff's already been covered. The winter's been covered for everything, and just there's a couple things that need to be tightened up on it. So anybody that would be interested in that, and of course I'll plug that on the Donnie Show too. So uh, that's all I got. Jody, if you can say something. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear. You yeah, right. Honestly, and this might not be popular until everybody saw it. If you could get Brandon Parker and Billy Parker together to come in and do something, because Brandon has raced a lot of different stuff and been a lot of different places, and then you look at I mean, over 50 years of racetrack promotion that is attached to Billy Parker. I think he'd have a lot of good stories to tell and a lot of insight, and I think that would be a good one. All right. I'm going to get off of here and I will message you, Jody. All right. Yeah.
Somewhere where we can do this and have service, even if I have to be um, down at the lot. Eddie, I see you said the YouTube live. I mean, live instead of YouTube live. It worked great when I had good service. It's actually a little better platform, in my opinion, than the Facebook is. And I'll probably be down at the lot with Wi-Fi next time to have it done. So, thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, um, y'all know that GRP is sponsored by Outlaw Chassis Engineering, and let them get